What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Traders Retreat. For everybody watching this, we're just going to go through a quick recap of how I broke down and got to the restart. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Traders Retreat. I just put out a tweet with this chart talking about the weekly support, the weekly close that we just had, and basically what my price target is, right, of 130. So what I want to do in this video is just quickly show you how I got to that. So let's start with a clean chart. Boom, we'll just get rid of it, right? So we're looking at the weekly right now. So a couple things go on, right? I'm imagining that we're coming down. Let's say I have no data here, and I'm just looking at what happened now, right? So a couple things. I want to look for demand zones, right? Because I think, okay, we're going to be heading down. Well, it doesn't matter what you start with, but let's start with demand zones. So I'm looking here, where's the close? Okay, I look to the left and I say, there's no bodies. Like the body of what I'm looking for is a bearish candle, and I'm looking for the body of the candle, right? I'm looking for a lowest price, basically whatever's underpriced that wicks have not gone in and out of. So first thing comes to mind is I come down, I'm using my crosshairs, and I say we're obviously here is where we closed at. So going back in price, right? So I come right to here. I know that everything in front of this makes no difference. So here I'm going to come down and I say, oh, here's a candle. Okay, but look at this. Let's zoom in and see what this candle does. Right? So let's just zoom in a little bit more. I see where this candle's close is, as well as where it wicks down to. I'll try to keep my crosshair off of it. And then I look to the left. And is it going into the body of another red candle? Yes, it is. It's this one. So immediately I say, okay, that to me looks pretty good. Let's snap some lines on this thing and see what it looks like. Okay. So let's say that's our zone. All right. Very simple, right? Now I can look at this and I can say, okay, look at the wick, look to the left of this, right? Is it going into the body of another bearish candle? No, it's not. All right, so this is what I have. It's pushed up, right? Closed the next week afterwards. We opened up here. Looks like price tried to push up, came down, okay? I'm following this bearish candle here. Came down, bounced, caught this demand zone, right, which was created as soon as we closed back up here, right? Buyers were here, came up, closed here. We opened the next week, we dipped inside just slightly, and obviously a huge explosion to the upside. This was a big move for Tesla going back to 2020. So there is our first demand zone. All right, that's great. That's the weekly demand. Now, what just happened? How can we get a signal off of this, right? What I want to do is I want to go back. I know, okay, so what, I looked to the left here. I knew that this is where we were at, but now I want to find what's the lowest close of a bearish candle. So let's just go to this. That's the closing price. I use my crosshairs and I say, oh, I see this candle right here, right? So imagine doing what I just did again. Doesn't matter which one you pick, okay? I come across, right? And having that lined up, I can see that the close of this candle was lowest, okay? And easily looking across in this data here, I can see that this is the lowest candle. So let's snap some lines on it, okay? Let's make a zone out of it. This is how we do this. It's very simple, pretty straightforward. We're looking for weekly demand. And remember, I know this, what I'm looking for is past price action here. So now we have this demand zone, right? I'm going to do it right, just the same way I always do. Send it back, all intervals. Okay, so now I can come over here and I can say, oh, look what happened, okay? Zooming in, this week came down. This was the previous week, so not this past week, right? The week before. We got a close just under, and I remember talking about this in the group, just under 196.58, which was the weekly support. So we got a short signal here, right? So what happens? The week opens up here. We got a bullish push, goes back up into this weekly zone, right? Which was demand. And now that we got the break, this is the retest where we expect it to act as resistance, to act as supply, okay? It's really just as resistance. This is the retest. And if you had grabbed short as soon as it entered inside of this, right, it obviously played out well for the week. We did go short on this this week. Had some really nice plays on that. They went out, they 2x. So you know, nice puts on those. Anybody still holding it, I think, is going to continue to pay out. So what's the point of this? This tells me that, okay, we got the close, we got the short signal this week, right? Not only did it played out perfectly, but we got another bearish close. All right, so where's my price target? Just from the weekly, I can look at this and say, okay, you know, I know that weekly, this is my demand zone. I fully expect it to come down and at least test this zone. So let's jump up and take a look at the month, okay? Now, easily, what pops out here for us? Hopefully this is coming together for you guys. Looking, you know, down and to the left, right? I'm looking for the most recent candle that's lower than price, right? I know it's not this guy because this candle is lower than it. It's also more recent, okay? I look at where this candle's wick goes down to, which is right there, right? I'm lining up my crosshairs. I look to the left there. It's not in the body of any candle, okay? Obviously the next zone would be somewhere in, you know, one of these, maybe this here, right? So what I did is I grabbed a line and I said, and you know, you could do this any way. What I did is I grabbed that, I turn it to orange and I make it dotted, right? Boom. Now I have representation telling me that, okay, not only is this 129.35 weekly support, it's also monthly support. If you wanted to finish out that candle, right, we would make that solid again. And then we would come here, we'd grab our rectangle and we would make that orange for whatever it's worth, right? Come up here, visual order, send to back. All right, so really that is it, all right? Now you can see the month has not closed yet, you guys, right? But where was monthly demand on this? Let's take this a little step further. The old monthly demand, right? I'm looking to the left, I'm looking for the lowest close. Well, it would have been right there, okay? So this month will give us the first month, right, where we close lower. We actually close below that monthly support, which held 1, 2, 3, 4 times on a test, right? We tested it once, actually more than that, because that zone, let's build out that zone completely. I'm not going to fill it in with a rectangle, but this is how you get confirmation. Imagine this is your monthly demand, right? First test, perfect test of that monthly demand, boom, bounces right back up. We get a second test, right? There's more sellers this time, maybe less buyers. Where does it go? It wicks right down, almost, it just passes the support level, right? Let's zoom in on that. You guys see that right here? All right, but again, wicks all the way, you know, buyers push it back up, we close the month higher. We test it again, still close higher. This third time, we test demand after the month opens, but look at this, rolls right up, you know, rips up. Not a big surprise looking at this price action. And again, we're watching this orange zone, right? We're talking about monthly closes. So it's all about the way the month closes. Anyways, the bottom line is that we got this test. It obviously went all the way through. And this is why it's fractal, guys. As you zoom in, I can see, even with the monthly, I can see how the weekly is interacting here because this green zone, you know, tells me where the weekly demand is. Bottom line here is that this month opened, right? Opened inside of the monthly demand. Obviously, we are way down low. I do expect it to close bearish, okay, but it's something to watch. So is the weekly. So that just gives us an idea of the monthly, right? Looking pretty bearish. Looking at the weekly, okay, and again, now that we're on the weekly chart, I'm looking at the green zones, okay. I don't really care about the orange zones that much. You know, it's good to keep in perspective, but again, we're on a weekly chart. We want to look at the weekly zone. So here we have it, right? We got this close last week, not this past week, but the week before, just barely underneath, right? We just talked about that. We got the retest, and now we just closed the week well below. So I can see this on a weekly, and I can say, okay, that gives me confidence that the monthly is gonna close underneath the monthly support, which is the bottom of the demand zone. So where does that put my target, right? So on the monthly and the weekly. Right down here, we have monthly demand and weekly demand in green. Okay, so where's a good target on that? I think what we're going to see is it push down, and I think we'll see 130. Now, if I grab puts, and again, I'm not just grabbing them right here. I want to see if we push back up a little bit. But what I'm going to be grabbing are some probably some end of December and January puts on Tesla, right? You could even go out a little bit further if you want a little more security. I think once this thing starts to fall, I mean, you're talking 30 points, or I'm sorry, 50 points from here. from 180 down to 130. I think that's a very important level. I know 180 matters quite a bit, and we did close just above it for the week, but let's be honest, right? I think this is not looking great. So next week, I think we're going to see a bullish move next week. Let's see if it pushes back up. And if it gets back up around 200, even 208, to me, right, I'm really looking for 200 though. That to me, anywhere up, even close to that 190 to 200 is a great entry for puts. And again, don't get freaked out, right? Just keep your position size, manageable within your risk profile. And that way you're not, if it pushes up a little further and it tests this monthly demand, if it gets back up inside of this, you're not freaking out. Give yourself some time. Maybe January, February is the best way to go with that. But again, I do think, right, as it comes down, I would start taking profits around 140 and I would leave a couple runners on to make it to 130. In my opinion, that's going to be Tesla's price target. And I think we're going to see that within the next couple months. So that's how I do it, guys. Hopefully it made sense. Oh, real quick, what we'll do, let's just get rid of this. I'll show you where I got the supply zone from, right? So instead of deleting that, let's do this. So the supply zone that you guys saw was this right here. Okay. And again, why is that? Well, let's put this in first and hopefully you guys get the concept at this point. But for anybody that's new, it's all good, right? I'm looking for a supply zone. I'm looking for bullish candles above price, right? The most recent. So I come back up, I see this green candle. Yeah, there's this one here too, but look, this is inside the body of this candle. So when I snap a line here, I can see that, okay, this is where sellers are sitting. This is where the last stand happened. Obviously we pushed down, tried to hold inside of it, got this close below. So now I do expect if we push back up, we have not gotten a full retest of this, right, as supply. But again, you got to remember, that's why it's important to know where that demand zone was, because we did retest the old demand. But again, if we push up, I'm looking 205, right? 205.82, a test to that or somewhere inside the zone, perfectly reasonable and is a great spot to grab these puts. So that's what you're seeing on those charts, guys. Hopefully this helped and helped you guys figure it out. Bearish on Tesla going down to 130 is my price target by, I would say, January at the latest. Oh, and take care. Love that y'all keep watching these videos, and hopefully this helped out the members in the class. This is going to be put out in the Discord first, and then I will put this out for people on Twitter and YouTube afterwards. But again, all this goes out to the class. We actually spend time after hours, everybody, focusing on this and really breaking down different examples of this. It's as simple as you saw me do it here, but again, we put a lot more time into this and really help you guys lock it down. We've seen some huge improvements on people's trading, and it's awesome to see, it's awesome to see people step it up. So looking to continue to do more of that. If you're interested in joining the Discord, you can go to the my bio on Twitter. The information is in the YouTube video, pretty much anywhere. You can always DM myself and I'll give you the information. So take care. Thanks for watching.